What's up, guys? You're listening to Talk to Transcend, a podcast that inspires individuals to go beyond their limits. Our names are Kevin Tran
and Jimmy Tran. On this show, we sit down and converse with others and ourselves about the journey we're on and the lessons we've learned along the way.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Good? Mm-hmm. All right, dude. Here we go.
Let's start?
Yeah, so this is the very first episode. Welcome to the very first episode of Talk to Transcend.
Yep.
We'll call this the introduction episode. But my name is Kevin Tran.
My name is Jimmy.
And we're cousins. We decided to start this episode or this pod called Talk to Transcend. Mainly because outside of this, just on our own time, we
have a lot of conversations.
Yeah, a lot of deep convos, you know, and like figured why not make it
a podcast.
Yeah, turn it into a podcast, record it. If anything, it's for us to look back and see how our mindset has grown and changed throughout the years and through all the convos we had.
I mean, imagine like from this very first episode 1 intro to episode 500.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to look back and be like, damn, we thought we were elevated at that point, but with this podcast, we grew even more.
Yeah. And it'll be good to kind of like just document, because we'll be talking about like things that are happening around the world at that current time and stuff too. So I don't know. I think it's good.
Yeah.
But, I guess let's kind of tell the audience who we are and what we do, just so they can
pop it off.
Yeah, sure. So who am I? That's always like, it always makes me think, you know?
Who's Kevin Tran?
Yeah, who's Kevin Tran? I mean, right now, I guess a lot of people would see me as a husband and a web developer and software engineer, because that's what I graduated in.
I feel like they see you more as a creative, bro.
You think so?
Yeah.
I didn't even think
really
about it.
Flaunt your degree like that, you know, or your job.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, you have a point, because when people see me, they're like, oh, like, dude, your photos or videos are badass, you know, but they never be like, oh, how's programming? And they're like, yeah, because a lot of people think like, what does this guy do for a living? You know, like, is this all he does? So yeah, you got a good point. So I guess defined by me anyways, that's how I see it as, because the majority of my time is spent working my 9 to 5, which is software development. And so I guess you can call me creative, husband,
father of 2 dogs.
Yeah, a dog father, fur babies, and software developer. What else? I think
Son.
Yeah, I am a son. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I can't think of anything else. And I necessarily don't like labels. Yeah. Just because it's good and bad. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't like that it if you let that label kind of define who you are. Yeah. Because I feel like you can be anything and anybody. Yeah. So that's why, I mean, for me, mainly just a human going through life, trying to change the world.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I guess, would you want to brush up on how you got from, just really briefly, how you got to become creative, right? That's why we're here making this podcast, right?
Yeah. I've always dabbled into like just creative stuff, like creating things on my own. And I did a lot. I tried a lot of things when I was young. Like
you DJ.
Exactly.
Drew,
yeah.
You did a lot.
Yeah. So I always just try to dabble in things, and I was like, thought I could be great at it, right? But I wasn't. So then I moved on. Yeah. And it's interesting because I don't think I like ever dabbled in anything long enough. I kind of fell into this trap where like if I wasn't good, I'd quit.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe you were really great at it. Yeah. Maybe you could have been the next Griffin or something.
Yeah, I just needed more time.
Yeah.
But at a young age, I guess growing up as an Asian American, you know, having Asian parents that are born
in Vietnam.
Yeah, in Vietnam and stuff. So yeah, very traditional. So kind of first generation of my family anyways. They kind of have this kind of plan of like, oh, you know, you go to school and
Graduate.
yeah, you graduate with a degree and
Get a job.
Yeah, get a job, because that's what they
the
knew that
American
worked.
dream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I kind of like everything I did, they were always like, what are you doing? You know, like it's not, you're not gonna, like, there's no money in that, you know,
Yeah.
type of thing. Cause you're not like, it's very, very rare.
It's not a career.
Yeah, type. So
Yeah.
so maybe that could have played a role into it. I never thought about it like that. But yeah, anyway, so that was why I was, as a young kid, that's what I like to do. It's just like,
Always create.
yeah,
dabble
creating
with different
something.
things.
Yeah, so like I would like, and I was very imaginative. Like I would watch TV and watch movies and stuff, and I would like,
Let your imagination run wild.
yeah, I would think I could be turned Super Saiyan, like Dragon Ball Z, bro. Like
Yeah.
I thought I could turn Super Saiyan, you know, and like every day I would practice that, bro.
If you just believed hard.
Yeah, if I believed hard enough, like, and then I was like trying to move things with my mind, you know, and like it's funny now that I look back at it.
Yeah.
But that's where I kind of let my mind run free, you know, and then of course school and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was, I always came back to that because as an Asian American and growing up, I respected my parents a lot. And I just wanted to make them happy, you know, so I
Yeah,
always
of
had to
course.
come back to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's where I guess now, after graduating college, I did what they wanted me to do.
Made a pretty successful career for yourself.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Many people would say so.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, for sure. My parents, they're kind of iffy about it. They'd rather me be a doctor or a lawyer, but an engineer was like okay for them, you know. So after I did that, you know, I was like, all right, now I can kind of like start it like,
Maybe focus on your own path.
yeah, as well as sort of a side thing, you know. I never thought of it being my full time or like wanting to go full time, but it kind
grew
of
and blossomed into
it
something
kind of
bigger.
happened. I guess once I got into the real world, I didn't really like fully enjoy my job, you know, and like I just seeing like YouTube and other people like be able to make money from doing what they love. I was like, man,
Why can't I do that?
yeah. So then I was like, I'm going back on that journey
Yeah.
again, you know, and so I did it, you know. I grabbed my camera, started traveling, making videos. So I started testing things out again, you know, like trying everything, and I was stuck to it because I didn't have my parents saying, you know, like, oh, over,
Don't do it.
yeah, over my shoulder, like saying like, oh, like, what are you doing, wasting your time, you know, like I'm doing my job and then I'm doing that on the side, and then so the current journey I'm on, yeah. So I mean, right now, I mean, I'm still a full-time software developer, and just doing like video and photo on the side, and it works for me. Also, jumped into a business venture.
Yeah.
So I guess you can
couple.
say, yeah,
Yeah.
a couple now, yeah. But you can say I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Business, I feel like, has always been in my family's blood. They always hustle.
Business mindset.
Yeah, they always hustle and grind on the side because, I mean, I don't know about you, but like I don't know of any Asian parents that only do like one thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're always like doing the
Something on the
most.
side.
Yeah, always
Yeah.
like hustling and grinding just because of where they came from. Kind of trying to stay out from under, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. But
But I
yeah.
guess even along the way, you found, you know, including myself, you found PD and Vic, who are also kind of like, I guess, like your creative group, your business partners almost, and you guys founded Transcenders.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess going more deeper into it, what kind of helped along the way was for me to stick to this so as long as I did is finding a group of friends, right? That kind of had the same interests and stuff.
Same passion, same
Yeah,
interests.
just because like if you're ever not feeling it in a day or whatever,
They'll boost you back
they'll be
up.
there to be like, hey man, like
Yeah.
let's go, you know, kind of like light that spark up again. But yeah, I mean might dive into it later deeper and stuff, but for now that's kind of my journey and that's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you?
So I guess before we start on myself, we do have an IG page. It's Talk to Transcend. It's the same name as the podcast, so make sure you guys go follow that.
Yeah,
And you know, this
cool
isn't-
plug.
This isn't
Shameless plug.
sponsored, but Summer Moon Coffee in Fort Worth. You know, if you ever want to sponsor us, let us know.
That shit is delicious, by the way.
It's super dank.
I mean, that's why Leilani drove. She drove all the way across town, past here, and came back.
Back.
For sure.
But yeah, man. So a little bit about myself. My name is Jimmy Tran. I work at a defense contractor as a mechanical engineer. So I feel like it's very polar opposites, right? Like you have like a very traditional American workforce, and you have like me wanting to be creative, very rebellious against the norm of an American dream.
So that's funny you say that. So tell me, how did you get into this situation? You know, like it's like you're saying you're like, you know, a polar opposite and creative, like against that kind of like 9 to 5 stuck in a spot. But that's what you're in, right? Yeah. So like, how did you end up in this situation?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think very much similar to probably you and most, I guess, Asian Americans, right? Or most, I guess, kids or whoever that comes up.
Immigrants,
yeah. You know, like, I went to school, did the whole, like, trying to make my parents proud. You know, wanted to go into engineering because...
Did you always want to make your parents proud?
Yeah. Right. I mean, I'm an only child, so it's like, I didn't have many other goals, right, besides my own goals. So yeah, that was probably always one of them. I mean, I think, like I said, I probably wouldn't have done engineering if it was my own choice. Or I guess it was my own choice, but really, right, like, I'm going to go to school, try to make the best return on that investment. And to me, engineering seemed like the smartest choice. Like,
yeah. Because I felt like your parents weren't really like, actually, I don't know, but like pushy in a way to like make you like, oh, you need to be a doctor or a lawyer.
So they never really pushed me, you know, like, I guess.
But in your own terms,
in
like
my own term,
you were like, I want to make the most of the money that is being invested into this college, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But man, like, so I guess, you know, I did the whole college thing. I graduated. I interned, you know, while in college, I was very tunnel vision on, you know, I'm already in school, so I'm going to finish it. I'm going to intern. I'm going to find a job. So that's really how I landed in that, I guess, workforce.
Yeah.
I think in particular, the very traditional feel of that company is just, I don't think anything led to that. It just so happened to be, I ended up to be in that company. Probably for my major too.
Yeah. So that explains that one half of it, right? Where does the other half come into, like the creative side and like you wanting to break free, you know?
Yeah.
So like, where did that stem from?
So I think that's where it gets like a little bit more colorful, a little bit more like off the beaten path. Man, I feel like, you know, so for those of you who's watching and listening, my main interest comes in, I do love videos and I do love like anything creative, but I really love like anything related to hip hop, kind of like street culture, sneakers, anything of like that urban category. So I feel like that kind of, so I guess building up into how it all started is, you know, I found a passion for sneakers as a little kid. I don't know if that stemmed from like, you know, like our dads are big into sports, whether it's like for actual leisure or for, you know, gambling. Yeah. They would watch basketball, they would watch football, and, you know, clearly like you would see like the players wear their shoes, you know, you'd be influenced from like Michael Jordan at the time, like whoever's playing, you know, Allen Iverson. You know, so I guess just finding that passion or I guess interest so early on, you know, I guess sticking through it.
When did it start?
For me, probably, so I was still in California for sure.
Really? Dang.
Yeah.
Like when did you started getting like, I guess finding this culture in a way, right?
This culture.
And like more serious about it.
More serious about it? Probably when I was like maybe in high school.
High school?
You know, but like, when was I exposed to it? I felt like pretty early on.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing where it's like, you know, our parents being immigrants, like, you know, they didn't know how to censor MTV, you know, so you have a 6-year-old Asian kid watching MTV, you know, watching basketball, and, you know, my mind's just being engulfed in all these things. So, you know, I feel like that interest stemmed from very early on in my childhood. And then, moving on to high school, that's when YouTube kind of popped off,
Yeah,
So
that's right.
That's when so for me, high school was around like 2011 to 2014.
Okay.
So that was maybe like the early growing periods.
Was that like the beginning of sneaker like culture, like hype beats and stuff, or no, not yet?
I feel like hypebeast culture has been around for like ages.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's blossomed into something even more.
Yeah.
Because of YouTube, Instagram. But I feel like the stereotype of a hypebeast has always been there.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Like the
Yeah.
kind of label, but like that sneaker culture where like, well, they had like forums and stuff, right?
Yeah, they have forums.
Yeah.
So-
Did it just start when you went in, or was it like there for like a year or two already?
It was already there
Okay.
for a year or two. So, I mean, if you guys are listening, you guys are into sneakers. So there was like a forum called ISS, Soul Collector. And if you were into like SB Dunks, it was like NSB.
Yeah.
So, like a 13-year-old just browsing on the forums all day, like,
Yeah.
just getting in love with like everything about the culture, like talking to these random strangers around the world. So I guess talking about that, I'm trying to just explain how that passion built
Yeah.
even more and more. But yeah, so I guess high school is when YouTube kind of popped off. That's when people had like, I don't know if you saw, but the flip cam.
Yes. The Flip
Yeah.
HD.
So that was the first
Yeah.
camera I ever got
Oh, okay.
to record all my YouTube videos.
Oh, wow.
All my sneaker videos.
It was super easy to use, right?
Super, like,
Yeah,
the
but it was
USB was like on it, so you just plugged it in.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. What time are we at?
We are at, oh shoot, let me check.
Yeah.
16 minutes.
Okay, so we're good for another bit. Yeah, because so right now, the reason why we have the time and checking in is because like the cameras that we have right now have a 30-minute
30-minute limit.
recording limit. Yeah, but so that's the only reason why. So we may take a break here in a bit.
Yeah.
And then restart it up again.
Exactly.
But yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'll run through it real quick. I guess I had kind of an opposite experience. Like, my parents never pushed me to do anything.
Yeah. But yet you still did, I guess, sort of followed the typical path, of a
College.
first gen, because again, like you felt that kind of pressure, not by your parents, but just second nature, because everyone in our family,
I think that's the thing, right? It's like
everyone in our family, like all our cousins, college, get a degree, get a job.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you kind of like have this
That's
sort
what
of exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But yeah,
So the Flip HD cam, YouTube came out. So you stumbled upon YouTube in high school, like just browsing the web.
I think everyone was watching
Okay.
YouTube at the time, right?
Yeah.
And me already having an interest for sneakers, I dived into a world of people making videos on like snapback sneakers, like very like low quality videos.
I mean, see, to me, it's one thing to watch these videos and a whole nother thing to make the videos, right? So like, I mean, if you guys didn't know already, Jimmy still kind of is a YouTuber, kind of not like super hardcore or anything, but
Just something I dabbled.
yeah, it's just something you dabbled in. But you were hardcore back then
I was hardcore
in high school, and like that shit was dope, So like, I guess, how did you get into making your first video?
YouTube, low quality. Everyone was posting like, before people were doing reviews and like all these cool showcases and different perspectives, like all people were doing with whether it was a flip camera or like a low quality camera, like they were just doing like, oh, let me show my sneaker collection. Let me show whatever I have.
Yeah.
No edits, just one take. You point your camera at one shoe, point your camera at the other shoe, and you just talk about it. So my first video was a snapback collection video.
Mm-hmm. Like no talking or anything, just showing it?
I talked.
Okay.
Yeah, so I talked about like the hat, where I got it from like eBay or whatever. Like,
for me, even I still struggle with this today. It's just like the thought of like what people might think, So like, were you just like, did you just have this like aha moment? You're like, fuck it. Like, did you even think, were you even nervous about what people thought?
I probably was a little nervous for it, but I think at the time, like, social media presence like wasn't that strong.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll post this video and who's gonna really
not like nowadays where it's like
people
everybody
can find you exactly who you are.
And a lot of people are like, there's so many people on the internet now, like in social media, that you'll get like fucking flamed or like opinions, comments about some dumb shit all
I
the
feel like the
time.
growth of a keyboard warrior has grown
Yeah, gotcha.
exponentially.
Yeah.
You know?
True. All right.
But yeah, so I guess I did the whole sneaker YouTuber thing in high school.
And you grew it pretty big, like a decent size at least.
Yeah, I grew pretty big, pretty not bad, you know. And I think things kind of settled down when I got to college. I think right before college, my channel got shut down for copyright, so that's when things like definitely like plateaued.
Damn.
And I tried to start it up in college again.
Yeah.
Which is like my current channel now is like the one I started, but you know, I got so busy with school, priorities changed.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had to like grow up. But like there was a period in college where like I did not care about sneakers.
Yeah, bro.
Culture,
I was like, I thought this dude went off the deep end, dude.
like that.
I was like, didn't he just straight up like cut that lifeline off, you know? Like you just shut off that switch.
Yeah. Like,
so you did. Yeah, it was for like a year and a half or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
were you, I guess, that's crazy. This is the first time I'm hearing this, but like, what kind of state of mind were you in? Like, were you depressed? Were you sad? Like, you felt your moods and stuff? Like, how'd you feel?
So that was like kind of like before everything. Like,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that was, I think the reason why I cut it off was like, oh, I'm in college now, you know, and like the thing is like going to UT, like you're surrounded by like kind of like upper class kids, like rich white kids, you know, so you know, like they're not really into like the street culture, you know, like they're into like making good careers, having nice cars, wearing proper clothes, you know,
so you basically like uplifted from Houston to UT Austin, and then there was just like no one to vibe with.
Exactly.
On that sneaker level, like
there was no one to vibe with, you know, like
on that street culture.
Exactly.
Really, yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong, like there was like my roommate was someone I came to high school with, but like I said, I think my freshman year, me trying to get into engineering, like I didn't really make time for people. But I do think like maybe if I stuck around with him more, because he hung around with more of like a Black demographic student body, right? While we were in school, but I just did my own thing. Then I joined a fraternity, you know. And
I mean, that's kind of like, to me, that's kind of like where the cards kind of fell, you know. Like you just threw the cards up, and that's just where they kind of fell for you.
Exactly.
And so it just made sense at the time.
Yeah, but I guess one last thing. I guess we should probably wrap up me pretty soon.
No, you can keep talking. Yeah, just finish up.
Okay.
Yeah, so like college, I guess we had that little gap. I mean, so now we can see sort of where like how you got to that creative street side. Like I feel like it was, you buried it for like a year and a half, and then it came back out.
Exactly.
After that, and started growing and growing again, and then and I feel like kind of like me, to where like you got your 9 to 5, right? You did the whole thing, right? Followed the path, and then you got to your 9 to 5, and then like into it like a year or so, and you're just like, right?
This ain't it.
Yeah, this ain't it.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like a lot of people have that, you know, and that's one thing that I kind of,
I hope this podcast,
people learn from, not necessarily our mistakes, but our path, right? And I'm not saying like I regret any of it.
Definitely not. Lessons learned.
Yeah, lesson learned, shaped who we are today. And as long as you're making the choices today to make yourself happier, you know, and I think that's the way to go about it. But don't wait until it's too late.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's short.
Yeah, dude. So, but yeah, now here we are, still working our 9 to 5 and trying to
do this on the side.
Yeah, trying to
do other things on the side.
Yeah, do other things on the side until who knows what happens, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe we leave our 9 to 5 and then get to do that full time. Maybe not, you know? I mean, because right now it's kind of nice not having to depend on our side gig for income.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So we just work our 9 to 5, and then we can truly do what we love on the side. Because I feel like once you have to depend on that for income, then
take on side gigs you don't want.
Yeah, not even like taking side, but like it becomes a job again, and then you're opted to have to do things for money that you didn't necessarily want to do, you know. And so, I mean, I think there's a fine line. Like I think there's a certain time, there's a right time for you to jump, you know.
Yeah.
But hell, if some people just jump and go for it, right? And then do it full time, and they have to depend on it for money, but they do what they need to do. They get to still do what they love.
Exactly.
You know, so that's kind of that mindset perspective. So there's that way too. I'm not saying our way is the only way.
Yeah.
It's just
everyone has their own path.
Yeah, it's just what's working for us.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I guess in the current state right now that we're in,
with COVID, everything being canceled.
Yeah. It's weird. Life's weird right now.
Life is really weird.
Yeah. But I feel like it's starting to become normal, you know, in a sense.
I think we're starting to adapt as a society, as people.
Yeah. I feel like that's just human nature, right?
You know?
Adapting. And survival.
Exactly.
Right. So that's just how it's gonna go. But I mean, how do you feel? Like, how are you feeling with all of this going on?
COVID and everything.
Yeah.
Man, for me, I didn't really know what to make of it at first, you know, because I think at the beginning of COVID in March, we were all like, how long is this gonna last? You know, is it really that serious? You know, in the middle of it, it was like, damn, I might be in this for a while. So it was just kind of like writing it out.
Yeah.
You know, and then I guess now it's like you said, it's kind of like the norm now. So it's either like you have that initial feelings that you had with it, always like scared, not sure what to do, or you just kind of like adapt, learn with it, and still pursue that same mindset or pursue those same goals that you had pre-COVID, but now you're just doing it in a little bit more different setting. Or, you know, even with a little different mindset, because you had to go through that brief little awkward period of where, you know, moments where you weren't doing jack shit, moments where you were trying to do stuff, but, you know, COVID. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel about it too, to be honest. And I feel like either you just keep living, you know, and like seeing it as something like, oh man, I'll pick back up once it's over, right? Or you're like, man, fuck it, like, do something now, right? So like that's kind of where I'm at, and life goes on, kind of thing, you know. And so do your best to be safe, you know, and that's what we're doing. And then, but
don't let it
keep you down for so long, because all those people that are like, oh, I'll do it once it's over, you know. Right now, because of COVID, I'm just gonna chill for a bit. And it starts like, for me, that started fucking with my mind.
Yeah.
I started getting into this kind of mindset.
Like a slump.
Yes.
Of a routine.
Yeah, and it was just like, it sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just felt very...
Not yourself.
Yeah, like groggy in a slump, and I was like, man, this ain't it.
Yeah.
So I had to switch my mindset, get that shit back on track. It was tough, man. Yeah.
And I will say, I mean, like, for people listening, like, I think we also understand that there are people out there where maybe more of their family is at risk, you know, so they can't go about their normal lives as much as we can.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe they are forced to stay in more of a slump, or they're forced to, like, they can't be as productive just because, you know, COVID is still a real thing. It's still a pandemic going on. Like,
I mean, that shouldn't, like, that shouldn't stop you from getting better or getting out of a slump, right? You can still read, listen to podcasts, you know, like, don't sit there on your phone all day and stuff like that. Meditate. People meditate, you know, that I know. Listen to music, like, still doing things, but being safe about it, you know. And even in their own home, like have a good routine going, you know, eat healthier and stuff like that. Like, those are things that you can do that'll make you feel better, you know.
Exactly.
Just having like a schedule, I feel like, for me anyways, and having like a just checklist of like maybe the top 3 things you want to get done that day.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're working a 9 to 5 or what, but it makes you feel good, because then you get to like cross that off your list, like just the 3 top things, and then like under that you can add other things, but like you don't necessarily have to get to it, you know. So that way you shouldn't feel anxiety and stuff. Yeah. So I mean, that's how I do it, dude. But other than that, I mean, I'm still doing my shit, opening up a second business with my partners. Excited about that.
Big things coming.
Yeah, a lot of big things. There's another thing too, but talk about it later. Future episode. Yeah. All right. How we at?
Let's see. On time, we are at 29 minutes.
All right. Well, we'll take a quick pause real quick and continue. Or actually, we can wrap up the podcast.
Yeah, we'll probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
So that was the first episode.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. If you guys tuning in, appreciate you guys. Hope you guys continue listening. Go ahead and shoot what you want to hear and stuff. But mainly talking about current life and
everything going on.
Yeah, everything. Just kind of how we navigate through our life.
Yeah.
You know, and over time, maybe we'll have future guests here and there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think we definitely will.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Cool.
Yeah.